Top of the morning to you. Welcome and happy Easter. Glad to have you join us here this morning on News Analysis. My name is Chioma Vic Chukwemeka, also known as Oma Sweetheart on radio, TV and social media. A wonderful time to be alive. I can't be alone on this program. I've got with me beautiful
Good morning, Nigeria. I'm Adoma Izokeke. Good morning.
See, I'm admiring you. I like your hairstyle. It's so fine.
Thank you.
Were you the one that made this one yourself?
I didn't make it myself.
You know, there was a time you told me there was this hairstyle you came with.
Just once.
And I said you have such a beautiful talent and you're allowing me to waste.
It's stressful making your hair yourself because once you're doing it, you're going to spend like hours there. And if your arms are, everything will just be paining you. So
right,
it's just better you just go to the salon.
Abby, and cut off the stress. Meanwhile, you look beautiful though.
Thank you.
Is it part of the Easter celebration? Anything usual, anything unusual, anything?
Nothing. This is just me.
So how was your Easter celebration?
Oh, it was just like a normal day. I was just indoors.
You were indoors. Nobody took you out. Okay, and
how was yours?
Usually, you know, probably because I've gotten used to, you know, I work on Sundays, like I told you. So I've gotten used to spending my Easters here. All right, and it's all part of the whole thing. It's all part of the sacrifices because some people are home, they are relaxing, expecting to hear your voice, to hear you so you can brighten their day. So usually my Easter starts when I'm done with work. So what did I do that particular Sunday? After I was done with work, I had to go to my mother-in-law's house. My husband and my kids, they were there. So immediately I got there, the kind of rice I ate. My God.
I trust you.
As I was very, very hungry.
I trust you. I trust
so I'm actually
you.
part of those people that are so blessed because usually during celebrations like that, I don't get to cook in the house because she's there. So we go there and we eat. After eating her meals, then the next day I will now cook in the house. So I actually prepared special coconut rice. Yesterday morning.
Can I follow you home?
You can follow me.
Okay.
And I just needed to do something unique, something different for the family, and we really, really enjoyed it. So we kind of relieved what we couldn't do on Sunday.
Okay, let me just tell you what I cooked.
Better.
I made pepper soup and white soup. I made this thing, what they call it, goat meat pepper soup and white soup, and also
Ofensala.
Yes, ofensala and rice.
I'm just imagining that ofensala. I'm just having this.
That's my dad's favorite.
Oh, amazing!
Doesn't joke with it.
And you're a daddy's girl, right? Yes.
I'm not. I am a kid sister.
All right, we have a lot of papers to review for you this morning. We have the Guardian, we have the Punch, we have the Vanguard. Which are the ones?
The Sun, the Daily Trust, and the Daily Post.
So we are starting immediately with the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Okay, criminalization of suicide, crippling prevention efforts, according to psychiatrists. That's a headline. Bandits attack luxury bus, rob passengers, set bus ablaze in Ogun. When will we ever stop having these horror stories? You know, even during celebration, bandits are still
until the
attacking.
Government sits up.
All right.
Won't stop hearing it.
Oh well. Alaja Ogbe Ijo crisis. Cruel soldier shot me, then came back to see if I was dead. Amazing. Notorious bandit Moody son, others killed in Kaduna. Bush burning triggers health disorders in Bayelsa. PDP chair North Central insists on completing Ayu's tenure. Land dispute arson, residents flee Edo community, cry out to governor. Ramadan talk, night prayers in Ramadan 1. London maiden flight, how we fought restriction of Air Peace return flight. Dynamics shifting, says SDP chairman Gaban on El-Rufai's visit to party. LP crisis, Abure rejected P2B's advice for all-inclusive convention, Ubidati campaign. Energy crisis, more troubles for Gencos as federal government increases gas price. Electricity, Discos generated 294.9 billion naira in Q4 2023 report. Alternative Bank, TK Tech Africa sets a $500 million digital Sukuk partnership. Recapitalization, banks require 4.7 trillion naira to meet CBN's new benchmark capital. Africa Prudential declares 900 million dividends, unveils new investment platform. APM Terminals, Apapa recycles used lubricants, discarded PPEs. APCON commends CBN for dollar sales to BDCs. NIPC, Dangote, CFAX shipping, 105 companies benefit from federal government's tax holiday. Rail transport revenue rises 8.8% to 6.05 billion naira. And finally, refuse burning triggers minor explosion at Ikeja Army Cantonment. Those are headlines from the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, from there we move over to the Punch newspaper. No regret criticizing Kaduna governor, says suspended women leader. Ex-governor trials shows EFCC won't spare anyone, Olukoyede. Tinubu other African leaders grace Senegal president swearing in today. Oyo Monarchs plans to reconcile Kwam One aggrieved ex-drummer. Zenith Bank extends win as Nigeria's best bank. Do we agree with that? 6 ministers resign amid Peru president's Rolex watch probe. Nigerian Railway generated 1 billion naira revenue in 3 months, MBS. Federal government should engage monarchs for palliative distribution, Oluwo. Next sits over state police as governors plan forest guards. PDP condemns pro-Wike lawmakers' impeachment threat against Fubara. Experts seek review of law criminalizing suicide. Lawmakers urged to amend NDDC Act. Easter, fun seekers flood Parks Beach amid tough times. And still moving on, we have embrace returnees and hotels Akwa Ibom PDP world leaders. RCCG opens subsidized foodstuffs market for members. 2 million enrolled in Delta Health Insurance Scheme, DG. My experience in kidnappers den traumatizing, Edo PDP chair. Gombe governor lawyers disagree over alleged 40 million legal fee. PZ cushions loses worsens to 94 billion naira in Q3. Journalist vital to corporate governance, says Data Pro. And still moving on, we have U.S. lawmakers hail Nigeria Rotary Scholar. Organizers unveil speakers for industry summits. Lastly, we have bank recapitalization will worsen unemployment, analysts. And that's it for the Punch newspaper today.
All right, moving along to the Guardian newspaper this morning. Natural gas prices soar amid tariff hikes, power sector subsidy. Edo government facilitating ease of doing business, promoting growth. Community ask Onyebanji to caution Deputy Commissioner over Monarch tussle. Tech community task Abiodun on digital economy. 4,000 megawatts grossly insufficient for Nigeria's over 200 million population. Father cries out over missing son after cult attack in Ogun. Reps, Deputy Speaker Carlo confirmed lobby for Nnamdi Kanu's release. Abdul Razak, others seek women's empowerment for sustainable development. Abga's attacks on Ganduje disrespectful, uncalled for, says aide. Ondo State AG Ajulo appoints 273 advisors. How FX duty rate disparity shipping charges compound inflation. World Autism Day. Experts link condition to household chemicals. NRC recorded 32.08% passenger decline in 2023. NIFESAF trains SMEs on global market skills. President's wife advises youth to key into government's programs. Troops neutralize terrorists in Northwest, intercept illicit drugs in Ogun. Tinubu departs for Faye's inauguration in Senegal. Tinubu inherited worst economic challenges, says Senator. Police arrest guard over jungle justice in Lagos. Man nabbed for allegedly killing elder brother in Bauchi. Finally, Mba advocates economically viable Igbo race. That's it from the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Guardian newspaper, we move over to the Sun newspaper. Kaduna debt controversy. NEF can. AYCF. PDP tells Governor Sani to go after all corporates. Stakeholders urge OT not to forget Aba roads. 2027 North can't stop Tinubu's second-term bid. Arewa think tank. River crisis. You are illegal assembly. PDP tells defected lawmakers. Ondo Guba. Fresh crisis looms in APC over anointing of aspirants. And still moving on, we have APC woman leader tackles Kaduna governor. Osun politics. APC caucus accuse Oyetola's aides at attempt to kill Aregbesola. Hardship. Ex-Enugu lawmaker to unveil microcredit startups. Still moving on, we have Alternative Bank. TK Tech Africa to boost financial innovation in Nigeria. We will strengthen collaboration with regulatory agencies to enhance cybersecurity. Stocks traded on NGX hits 16.4 billion naira. And lastly, we have stakeholder. Okay, I think I've taken this. Warehouses grains belongs to KBLG Dangote Foundation governor. And that's it for the Sun newspaper today.
All right, we move right straight ahead to Daily Post newspaper this morning. Recapitalization jobs losses loom as Nigerian banks battle to escape extinction. Peter Obi haunted by ghosts. Daniel Bola on ex-presidential candidate's threat to dump LP. Benue, they have buried differences. Tiv Traditional Council reconciles Alia Akume. Gunmen abduct many students in Delta State. Wow. How El-Rufai lobbied to replace Shehu Sani with Governor Oba in 9th Senate, suspended women leader says. And still from Daily Post newspaper this morning, begin drugs palliatives to save Nigerians. Ex-man President Uhuabonwa advises government. Benue, they have buried differences. Okay, I've taken this. 2027 presidential election, no politician can match Tinubu. Rep Chinedu Oga says. Hajj 2024 fair, KB to support each of over 3,000 pilgrims with 1 million naira. Venezuelan authorities arrest popular YouTuber for alleged terrorism. Still from Daily Post newspaper this morning, Giba primary election, it shall be free, fair affair, Ondo APC assures. Edo PDP chairman recounts ordeal in kidnappers' den. LP crisis, quit while ovation is loudest, CNPP urges Abure. I think that's all from Daily Post newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Daily Post newspaper, we move over to Daily Trust newspaper. Easter. Okay, politician holding palliative, inviting God's wrath upon themselves. Oluwo. Easter. First Lady urges youth to key into government programs. Railway Corporation generates 1.07 billion naira from passengers in Q4 2023. MBS. Reports. Israeli army withdraws from Al-Shifa hospital. Kano residents lament resurgence of violent clashes by talks. Tinubu off to Senegal for President's Faye inauguration. KB residents loot government private warehouses. How to verify acquired property in FCT. God told me Tinubu will spend 8 years in office. That's from Umai. And lastly, we have how to use social media during Ramadan. And that's it for Daily Trust newspaper today.
Okay, a quick one from this day newspaper this morning. Zenith Bank named Nigeria's best bank for 4th year at Global Finance Awards 2024. That's it from this day newspaper. Geregu Power restates commitment to Nigeria's power sector, highlights $550 million investment to date. Still from this day, inspired by Senegalese election, Atiku rallies opposition to form coalition. Our military remains committed to defeating insurgent bandits, COAS, Lawaja declares. And I think that'll be all from this day newspaper this morning. Do we still have another paper too?
No, we don't.
Okay, so that's all for this paper's news headlines. Kindly remember that you can get these papers from the vendors nearest to you. There is a story from Punch where it has been said that we need to encourage teachers to embrace technology firm. Now, of course, the Chief Executive Officer of GoToCourse platform and GMind AI successor has called on the federal government and other stakeholders to encourage teachers to embrace technology to improve the learning system. The truth of the matter is this. This is the era of AI, artificial intelligence, and what it means is that with AI technology, we have a lot of improvement, especially as regards what we do in the classroom, right? There are different ways. It is no longer business as usual. Education right now is no longer business as usual. With a lot of gaming platforms, Google Classrooms, a lot of, there was a time I had
a lot of
practicals, and they are done online.
Exactly.
Right? PowerPoint presentations. And again, how many teachers even know these things? Let me shock you. There was this particular group of schools. The last time I went there, one of the teachers
using that school.
Yes, because it's a government school.
Yeah.
It's a government school. And there's this other one. There's Modebe. It's a government school too. Because if you're talking about particular government policies, you cannot really use the private schools to judge. You use government schools to know exactly what is going on.
Okay.
Now, this particular lady, she complained to me that when we come down to Anambra State, she said, during the last recruitment of teachers, where Anambra State government recruited 5,000 teachers. Of course, there's another recruitment going on. They said they will add more teachers, right? She said she couldn't be employed. In her words, that it was computer. Look at what she said. Okwa computer. Oh, no computer. Okwa computer. I was like, I looked at her, I said, you don't know anything about computer. Like, you've not gone through the basics of getting on the know of the basics of computer.
Yeah, the basics.
The basics. We are not telling you to learn chat GPT. We are not telling you that one is higher. We're not telling you to learn that one is higher. But if you can learn it, fine. Just the basics.
And all that.
Just the basics of how to operate a computer, and you're telling me that you're a teacher. Because she has been in the teaching field, industry, for years. She has been a PTA teacher for years. Now is the time for her to be included, to be recruited into the system. Because she could not, and what are we talking about? We are talking about, because it was computer-based test.
Okay.
Computer-based test, you write with the system, right? You answer questions, you click, where you are supposed to click, you click OK, then you submit. Some teachers,
she couldn't do it. Wow.
Yes. Yes, so it's actually the right call in the right direction, because all things AI started in 2023. Even though there's been a lot of technological awareness, there's a lot of things going on in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja. Before we came on air, I was telling you that there are schools You were the one that said obviously there are schools that are already employing these things.
Yes.
And these are the schools where the school fees is about 1 million. These are private schools. From
500.
500,000. These are private schools, private-owned schools. Now, let's look at government-owned schools, because if we are talking about an all-inclusive environment where technology rules, we will be looking at government-owned schools. Now, number one, what efforts is the government making to train and retrain teachers? Because it's important. Teachers in kindergarten, teachers in primary school, teachers in secondary school, what effort, what's the government doing to ensure that teachers are well trained? Now, these things come in different angles. There are teachers who go the extra miles to train themselves.
Exactly. Okay, continue.
There are teachers who go the extra miles to train themselves. For example, if you go to Modebe Secondary School, which is located here in Onitsha, a teacher from that particular school, all right, she was the overall winner of Maltina Teacher of the Year 2017 for the state, but she couldn't win when she went to Abuja but she won in the state. Now, a teacher here in Anambra State was the median winner of Maltina Teacher of the Year 2015. She teaches in a government-owned secondary school. And according to her, I've interviewed her, she said she teaches mathematics, she teaches chemistry. Now, this is a teacher who goes the extra miles to train herself, but there are other people who may not have that zeal. What should we then do? What do you make out of all this?
Basically, these things, CBT is something that has actually grown. I could remember in 2014 when I was trying to gain admission into university. That was I think I wrote JAMB in 2013. I didn't get admission. Then in 2014, that was when they introduced CBT. And some of us didn't know how to operate the
computer.
The computer. For me, that's that kind of the way you operate the computer. They taught us this thing in secondary school.
Okay.
Yeah, when my secondary school, there's a particular subject altogether that is called computer. In that subject, they will teach you everything you need to, just the basics. Not let's not talk about the videography and all those things, just the basics. You should know how to operate a computer and use it for anything you want to do. And I found out that during that exam, in that exam hall, I found out that some students could not even turn on their system. And it was really very funny because we were giving time.
Of course.
We were giving time.
Of course.
And when you're already used to the system, you just get to your system and you just on your system. But when you're not used to it, you just keep looking until the invigilator comes to you to help you operate it. And you see that most persons don't even look into this technology we're talking about. They look down on it then, but now Nigeria has already grown. Everybody is now talking about it. Before, when you're talking about computer lessons, a lot of persons will tell you what is computer lessons. When you go after school, you saw me to start looking. I did, even after my school, while I was still looking for admission, I was still going for computer lessons. And you see, when I was going for that computer lesson, a lot of persons were saying, why would you be going for a computer lesson? And you're just going for computer lesson to waste your money and waste your time. Instead of you to look for admission. It's not for you to look for admission. Do you know that the knowledge you gather from that computer lesson, that is the knowledge you're going to use to operate if eventually you see yourself in just like some offices right now. They will just tell you that, are you very versatile with a computer? If you're not, most of them lie. Like I have a friend that there's this job she got in Lagos. She was asked if she was really familiar with computer, because everything that was done that is being done in that office is just computer. There is nothing you will do. In fact, even everything you do in that office, you have to operate it with your computer. So when they asked her if she was, familiar with the systems, everything, she said yes. And she did the interview online. She was just answering everything, yes, but she does not know anything. What did she do? They now gave her, and she qualified because of the information she gathered from Google before she got herself prepared before the interview. And they now gave her, when she qualified, they now gave her a specific time for her to resume what did she do? She went to YouTube. She had a friend that also does this videographing. She also went to YouTube. She started in training herself. A lot of people will just look at this thing. They'll say, "Oh, computer. I don't need to like go into this thing because this job is not for me. Let me just leave it and start looking for other jobs. Is it not just computer? What will I do with computer?" But this lady, she took it upon herself to go to YouTube. She started training herself, and not just training herself. She even went ahead to talk to someone that knows how to do it, that is an expert in it, to put her through. And you know, when people do this kind of thing, because even during youth service, there are some questions they will ask you, and they will ask you if you're familiar with computer. And some offices, when you are going to be posted to, you see that those offices, they operate with their computers. And when you're not really used to this, that is why it is good for teachers to actually teach these things in school, to start from little, when the kids are still very, very little, so that as they're growing, they will grow with the knowledge of that. And no knowledge is a waste. As for people that will just come out and say, "It's just computer, what am I going to?" But if you look at it, most jobs that pay heavily right now is technology.
Sure.
What do they call themselves? Tech
giants.
Exactly.
Tech giants. Just use tech giants.
Exactly. Techies.
I mean, they earn in six
figures.
Like 6 figures.
Even if you are an expert, they keep learning every day.
You know, technology
grows.
My goodness.
If you think you know everything about this,
you can't.
In the next 6 minutes.
You're talking about 6 months.
Sorry, I said 6 months.
I have a friend who is a digital security advocate. She read computer science. One of the days we were chatting, I told her, she said she's on leave. I told her, "Okay, since you're on leave, can you just leave your phone?" She said it's not possible. Why? Because she knows that if she drops her phone this moment, the next moment she picks her phone, there is something new in the tech world. And apps are coming up every day.
Exactly.
Every day. So for teachers, if you're in the classroom, a lot of things are happening. The world is changing, and things are changing from the way it used to be. I mean, there are a lot of apps that are used right now in the classroom.
Before, we don't used to hear about AI. It just came out.
AI started everything AI, and the wave it's coming with in this 2024.
And AI is just put on bring out the app. Ask AI anything.
The wave.
You can even write your application letter for you.
And when we are talking about technology in classroom, we have a couple of resources. You have the digital field trips, you have the augmented reality, you have the multimedia, digital classroom calendar, you have the printing, you have the student feedback. Technology can actually help you. You have game learning, you have building digital content, you have a lot of resources online. The thing is, as a teacher, if the government are unable to do that, even though it is the duty of the government, especially in government-owned schools, they should train and retrain teachers. They should allow teachers to see these things, to have access to these realities, right? But if the government, just like we know in Nigeria how government fails in their part, in their responsibilities, even though the Anambra State government, they are doing a lot. The last time was a few weeks ago, the state governor, that's Professor Charles Soludo, he gave out laptops, right? Over I think close to 2,000 laptops. He commissioned it. Yeah, that should be given to head teachers and principals, right? He gave out laptops. That's commendable, but more needs to be done, because we are in the era of information. We are in the era of technology, and as a teacher, if you are in this, right, you need to upgrade yourself.
Yourself.
Adoma, there's another part. We talk about teaching in urban area. There's another part which is teaching in rural areas. Now, these rural areas, they don't even have internet access. Right? They don't have internet access. They are facing a lot of challenges as a result of climate change. I've had some students who came from Imiatanam. Imiatanam is located in Anambra West. All right, this is a riverine area. These are the places where whenever rain season comes, they stop school because their schools are flooded. Now, they don't even have access to internet. If you're talking about people who stay in Obaro, Oguibele, Anambra East, Anambra West, different places, all these riverine areas, they don't even have access to internet. Like, if they have to call, if they have to make something as simple as call, they have to come out of that place, of that village, you know. So if we are talking about technology in urban areas, what about rural areas? The government needs to do so much. The government needs to do so much.
Because they are the ones that would make that happen. Because we cannot be talking about all these things, and some persons are being affected because networks are not in some places. And to think of it, I'm still wondering if there was a video I saw one day. I don't know whether that place was actually Nigeria. I saw the way the place was just looking like it's all these videos of the way people dress in the 70s, 60s.
No, it's happening in 2024.
Why is that?
Yes, of course, even in Nigeria, there are places.
I didn't know that there were places like that were still not developed.
Now, Adoma, in Taraba State, even Abuja, the capital of Nigeria.
Those people that are still living in 90s.
There's this particular place. There's this journalist that I met. She said she did a news story. These are people who live on the hill. She had to climb. She said her journey, she had to use bike to climb the hill because it was like a 2 hours journey. She got there. The stories she shared at Doma, you cannot believe that there are human beings in Nigeria in this 21st century, 2024. There are people. And yes, there are people in such areas.
Still living like they are still in this.
They are 60s. Not, they are cut off, like they are literally cut off from this whole technology stuff we are talking about. They are literally cut off from it. Do they know what's internet? Do they know what phone is? They are literally cut off from civilization. Yes, even here in Anambra State, there are such people, there are such places. They are literally cut off from civilization.
Is it that those places they are scared of development?
No, not that they are scared of development. Sometimes they don't even have someone to speak for them. They don't even have a representative. Okay, some of the representatives, that's their job should be to speak for these people. They're not even speaking. Because once they leave that environment, they have selective amnesia. They forget that they are coming from a particular environment which is actually cut off from civilization. After all, somebody who is from Miatanam has a representative. Someone from Oguibele has a representative. There's this particular Olumbanasa. In fact, someone invited me.
How is the place?
But someone said that if I'm ever going to go there, I should ensure I wear my life jacket, because for you to get there, you have to go through River Niger. Must.
Please don't go. I beg you. Should I
was now asking them, is there no way we can go through Delta State, Ela? They said if I have to go through that route, that it's quite long, right?
So but you're actually thinking of going?
Well, if there's a life jacket, I'll go. One day, if I'm not on duty, I'll pack my car and I'll go.
I still love you. Please don't go.
But there are people there. There are people there. There are missionaries there, you know. And when you get to these kind of places, you know a different kind of life. You understand. After meeting these children from Miatanam, Anam, I'm used to meeting students from all schools around here, and they are speaking blah, 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 blah. In fact, the last time I had a school from OKTT, I did a program with them about technology in the classroom. They were calling out a lot of apps that can be used, e-notes. They even told me, e-notes are that. You're no longer writing with pen.
You're no longer writing.
You're using your phone. E-notes. They were telling me about e-notes. One of them was talking to me about a particular app, software that, because we're talking about exam malpractice. He said that there's a particular app, which is installed. If you make a move, the app will make signal and you'll be caught. You know, they talked about a lot of apps that can be used to enhance education. They only know these things because they have access to the internet.
I think that particular app, when I did my diploma in UNIZEC, and there was this particular app that was that I don't know if it's this particular one. They brought it then, and they mounted the camera that is as if the camera was inside our bodies. Once you sit down, it's going to be affecting you. So even if you're trying to collect an eraser, you're trying to, you just do like this.
If you make an
invigilator is already coming close to you.
If you turn your head, the app will signal, because you're not meant to turn your head. You're meant to stay just like this, writing the exam. These are technology in the classroom, and that app was brought out so that examination malpractice will be curtailed. Now, these are students, they know these things, they are talking about it. What about these students from rural areas? In fact, when I met with them, they can't even express themselves. Like, they can't even speak English. You know, what I was doing, because I had a program with them, when I was attentive to what they were saying, immediately I realized this is what they want to say. I take it up, because we need to do a program. So you see, there's a divide. There's a literacy divide. And the government needs to stand up to its responsibilities and do so much more, because things are changing. This is the technological era, and you can't stop it. You can only join the trend. You can only join what is going on, what is happening. Every day, yesterday I was on LinkedIn, I was watching a video of a robot cooking.
Okay, you've seen the robot cooking. I saw I think I saw something like, there's this, I don't know if that thing is real. This is just a full kitchen. You just have to like tell it what to make for you. Okay, you've seen such a thing. It will just be making,
it will make that dish, but it has to, I mean, we're not even talking, when we're talking about technology in the classroom, we're not even talking about the higher one, right? When you get to the higher one, it's still beautiful. But we're also looking at there are teachers that can't even put on a laptop, a desktop. There are teachers that don't even know how to power. They're not just teachers. Adoma, are you aware that there are graduates, young people like you and I, who don't even know how to put on the system? They don't know how to on the system.
Of course.
So we need to do.
I know such persons.
When after talking about the government and what the government can actually do, we as young people, we need to upgrade ourselves and upgrade what we are doing.
Exactly.
And still talking about what the government can do, the Oluwo of Iwo, Oba Abdurrashid Akambi, yesterday Monday distributed grains to aged and vulnerable residents in his domain, urging the federal government to consider channeling palliatives to poor Nigerians through traditional rulers. And to a large extent, I think I agree with what he said, because considering the stampede has been happening, traditional rulers are closer to the masses, right? They know these masses, they know these people, they know the words, they know the villages, they know the heads of villages, right? So if the government wants to share palliative, 5 kg rice, you know, that's what I told you that they are sharing, 5 kg rice. But again, I still ask myself, no, to be honest, after sharing 5 kg rice, what happens? 5 kg rice, how many weeks will a family of 5, a family of 6 eat 5 kg rice? If the government is sharing food, sharing palliatives, I mean, there are other things the government can actually do. Can the government kindly fix the roads? Can the government kindly make the economy better? Can the government help Nigerians by making sure that the inflation rate is down? But if we are talking about palliatives and the government wants to share palliatives, which is what they've been doing all this while, they should probably channel it through traditional rulers. But in channeling it through traditional rulers should also ensure that these palliatives get to the people. Because from a traditional ruler, for example, if you come to Onitsha right now, we have Igwe Achebe, right? In Onitsha, there are villages, there are chiefs, all right? So if it comes to Igwe Achebe, for example, of course, he will have to work in tandem with chiefs, right? And these chiefs will ensure that these palliatives get to the people it should get for, according to villages, according to families. What do you have to make?
You know, this particular thing, I think we talked about it last week when I was telling you that if they want to actually share these palliatives, they should actually put some persons that are closer to some persons. And I talked about, you know, having someone that, I said it and you laughed, having someone that would, you know, say, okay, this is for the media, this is I actually know it's never going to get to us.
But sincerely, will there be a time when they will say this palliative is for media?
But when I saw these monarchs, I was like, okay, maybe they heard what I said, and that is why they said they said thinking about it, and some persons are already saying federal government should, you know, put it to the monarchs to share it, because they are closer to the persons, are closer to the people, and when they do it, there won't be this kind of stampede. People killing themselves just because of 5 kg rice. People
that won't even last for 1 week.
What is 1 week? Imagine
how many cups. You know, I was asking you last time, how many cups is in 5 kg? How many painters?
What of those families? I know of all those families that used to have like 7 kids. Okay, just calculate the 7 kids and plus the father and mother. You don't know whether they have helps, and 5 kg is not even going to be enough for them. And some persons are already killing themselves. People are dying because of
lost their lives
because of 5 kg. So this is when I saw this kind of thing, I was actually happy. I was like, okay, maybe they heard what we said, and they're actually trying to put it into consideration, because it's going to be very, very helpful, and a lot of lives will be saved, because 5 kg bag of rice is not enough for someone to lose their lives. And trying to drag it, and it's going to bring, you know, it's going to be peaceful if they do it like that.
Hopefully, we hope so. And moving things along, the Nigerian Suicide Advocacy Group has called for the decriminalization of suicide to advance suicide prevention and control in Nigeria. This was made known by the consultant psychiatrist, Professor Taiwo Sheikh, at the group's maiden virtual meeting in Lagos. You know, one very quick thing I want to bring out of this is, according to him, he said, suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people, and it's committed by low and middle income countries, which Nigeria is one of them. Suicide is everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right? And, you remember that banker, that Amarachi banker, who died, was it last year? I think it was last year. She went to work, she went to the restroom, locked herself, and she drank. She wrote a letter, and she drank insecticide, and she died.
That was last year.
So, you know, in Nigeria, suicide is a criminal offense, still a criminal offense, but there's been a lot of advocacy groups coming up to say, okay, let us decriminalize suicide, especially in Nigeria, where mental health, we've talked about it here, where mental health is not really taking, but things are different right now. You know, there's been a lot of awareness, mental health issues. With all that's happening in Nigeria, with inflation, with everything, it's more than enough to drive someone to depression. You know, but we always say, no matter how bad it is, it's very important for you to understand that you are not you're not the only person in Nigeria. A lot of persons are going through mental health issues in Nigeria, and they don't even have a place or anybody to talk to, because if you talk to someone, they will first of all take it from the spiritual angle.
They will first of all judge you.
Apart from judging you, they will tell you that maybe you are possessed of an evil spirit, you know. But these are the kind of awareness we need to raise, all right? We need to raise this awareness, and probably seeing a way of actually decriminalizing, because and even people who commit suicide, you know, they don't even know that suicide is a criminal offense. Most people who commit suicide, right, who have suicidal thoughts, you know. I've had a young lady who came to church to give testimony. She said on several occasions she has gone to main market here to buy a particular drug that I'm not going to call its name. She wanted to, that drug, once you drink it as a human being, straight on, you're off, all right? She wanted to kill herself. She wanted to end her life. That she went to main market to buy it. After buying it, on her way out, the drug fell from her, and a keke was coming. The keke drove over the drug destroyed. That she has gone to River Niger. She wanted to jump into River Niger. As she was about to jump in, some people saw her, some fishermen saw her, and they dragged her. They took her back. 3 different occasions. That, okay, they now asked her, what happened? She said she usually hears a voice that tells her, go and kill yourself. Go and kill yourself. So these things are real. These challenges are real. People are going through these challenges, and they need more love, you know. There should be an awareness, okay? And someone once said, what if someone dies of malaria, will you say somebody died of malaria? You know, someone committed malaria, right? Because this, you know, when reporting suicide, when someone dies of suicide, you say, instead of saying died of suicide, just like you say died of malaria or died of cancer or committed suicide, that it should not be committed suicide. These are the nuances. These are the new trends. These are the trends right now in mental health reporting. You don't say someone committed suicide. Because if someone dies of malaria, you don't say someone committed malaria. You don't say someone committed cancer. You say died of cancer, died of malaria. So that suicide is a disease and should be treated as a disease, like a mental health challenge, and should be treated like that. As if, instead of criminalizing it and making the person look like a criminal. You have something
because
to say.
Before I say something, and you imagine saying someone committed suicide, the person is already dead. Are you going to punish the dead? The answer is no. So the thing is, a lot of persons are going through a lot, they're passing through a lot, and they don't even have anybody to talk to.
Exactly.
4 years ago, I had this friend. I used to be very close to her. She nearly killed herself. Why? Just because the person she was about to get married to cheated on her. And
mental health.
And she could not take it. She what am I saying? She drank something and she was already foaming. She was already foaming. It was her brother that came into her room and saw that she was already, and they rushed her to the hospital. I think they injected something to her that made that thing to come out with full force.
She vomited it.
Yes. And some greenish something came out from her mouth. They were not asking her what happened, what she was not explaining herself. Her wedding was like in 3 days. And she found out that this person cheated on her, and the thing, she could not hold it anymore. She now wanted to. The question is, if you kill yourself, this person will still move on to go and get married to that person. If, oh my goodness, the thing is that we should learn how to talk. If you're passing through anything, learn how to talk. Learn how to talk to someone. Express yourself. And people, when someone is talking to you, do not be quick to judge. Do not be quick to, to criticize the person or to start yelling at the person, because that person you're yelling at, that person might even be at the verge of losing their life. Maybe after listening to you, the person might just
push them.
Maybe
push them without knowing.
Without even knowing, because
you push them without knowing.
That's for them to open their mouth to come and confide in you. It shows that this thing has really gone deep into their soul, into their body, and they needed someone to talk to for them to get to have this relief in them. And you now come in to start judging them. Don't be quick to judge people, because when you do that, you're killing them. Like you said, you've pushed them to go ahead, because once they go back to think of what you said, they would,
those thoughts will come in.
Exactly.
And those thoughts will enable whatever it is they want to do. Now, quickly, the Delta State government says 2 million residents enrolled in the state health insurance scheme. Still talking about health. There's this Anambra State health insurance scheme, all right, which I think you get to pay about 12,000. I don't know how much it is right now, but as at last year, 2 years ago, you get to pay about 12,500 naira. And whenever you're sick, whenever you're not feeling well, you can as well access any of the hospitals that is in that scheme, all right? And I think it's a right step. If 2 million have enrolled in Delta State, I mean, this is a kind of call for more people to enroll, especially in Anambra State, because these schemes, it's available, right? It's available and anybody can enroll. And imagine a situation where someone enrolls in this scheme and maybe you are having suicide thoughts. You can actually talk to your doctor about it, right? You can tell the doctor, look at what you're going through. Once you open up to a doctor, right, I think the doctor will help you, because these doctors are trained. Right, a professional can as well help, because all these things are health-related issues, and the Anambra State health insurance scheme is working, right? Is working. I have some of my relatives that have registered in it. You can access the hospital at any time. Once you're sick, you go to the hospital, you take drugs, and you don't get to pay because you've already registered. But there's a level of, even if you go for treatment, or there's a level depending on the kind of treatment you're going for. If the treatment is such a huge one they will give you some sort of 50% discounts. There's a way they do that. But the basics, there are the basics like malaria, typhoid and all that, treating all those basics kind of illness. They just give you drugs. You know, they have doctors who will diagnose you properly. So for anyone who is having all these suicidal thoughts, it's really important that you take advantage of some of the things that the government has given, like health insurance scheme, which will help you. Talk to a doctor, and probably the doctor will help you, especially in this time that things are costly, you know. Things are amazing in quotes.
Things are difficult.
Things are amazing in quotes. So
amazing.
So you need to go the extra miles to make sure that your mental health, your peace is important. Don't allow anything to threaten your peace. You know. My name is Oma. Chioma Vic Chukwuemeka, also known as Oma Sweetheart on radio, TV, and social media. Remember that your peace is important. Safeguard your peace.
Exactly. Safeguard your peace. And my name is Adoma Ezokeke. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.